Art Zone crew, I love you. Happy 10th anniversary. This is Sarah Rudinoff coming to you from my office in West Seattle. And I especially want to make a shout out to Nancy, 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 I can't let you go. All my life you're haunting me, I love you so. Nancy, 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 I can't let you go. Life is crazy. Nancy, baby. Ah, digga, 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 digga. Mwah.
Hello, hello.
Hit it, hit it.
Hi everyone and welcome to the show. I'm Nancy Guppy here at Groovy Georgetown Stables. We have an excellent lineup of art for you this week. Take a look. The second annual Westerlies Fest.
I started getting a lot of spit everywhere. Is it okay?
Solo artist Susan Lieu curates the calendar. And the phenomenal Benicio Bryant from America's Got Talent.
Please, I'm just really trying to make it easy. Meet me in the middle and leave the rest up to me.
We'll begin with Rusty Oliver, an industrial artist, entrepreneur, and self-professed pyromaniac.
My name is Rusty Oliver. I am a businessman and an artist. I've been working in industrial arts for almost 20 years now, and I occasionally do work with pyro and special effects as well. I work in industrial art because it's an extremely creative medium, and the lines between making something that has mechanical and electronic components and active components like flame make it a different type of art. A big part of doing creative work for me is just it's an exciting way to live, and I like to be exploring as much as I possibly can. So very often that means that I'm hanging out with scientists one day and business people the next, and then finally towards the end of the week I'll get some time to just sculpt or work on a project that I'm interested in. We are in Hazard Factory. This is my art studio. This is where I do the bulk of my work. I've got a TIG set up here. I normally have a MIG, Miller 251 set up here. And then I keep my smaller tooling along this wall. This is a CNC plasma cutter. We teach blacksmithing, foundry work, TIG welding, welding of aluminum, anything that's in a general sense related to industrial art. This is a fabricated piece that I cut on the CNC plasma. This was based on a steer skull. And the last one of these that I made, actually I turned into a hood ornament on my Toyota. So it's a steer skull with like big horns. So it's kind of a vegan cow skull. I think we're all attracted to danger on some level. If you take a moment to think of what things that are in your life that you find really interesting, they correlate pretty strongly with risk. I'm a pyromaniac, right? I'm not the only one. If you get a group of people together and you ask who here has played with fire, every hand will go up. This is my favorite flamethrower. I've actually got kind of a lot of them. Fire was the first thing that we had to fend off things that might eat us, or even just like the dark. It's both our first technology and sort of like a spiritual lodestone, you know? It feels almost like a visualization of the human soul. Flaming tetherball is mostly about confidence and reflexes. The ball itself, we started with just toilet paper, and it's soaked in white gas, and then the ball will burn for about 5 to 7 minutes. One of the things that I really like about the game is that if you're someone that's got decent aerobic capacity but you're not particularly strong, or the reverse where you're strong but you're not particularly aerobic, it levels pretty well. So it's something where if you had nerves of steel but you're not necessarily in shape, you're going to do well. There is an element of physical risk in this that's more or less constant, and I find it engaging, and I find it helps me focus my attention. But by the same token, the most dangerous thing that I do every day is probably driving traffic. I saw an expression I really liked, which is, without art, it's just life. There's a tendency for us always to take and situate problems in an area that we are comfortable with. So if I'm a technician, everything's a technical problem. If I'm a sociologist, everything is a social problem or a cultural problem. If I were a religious person, I would look at everything as kind of a religious problem. A creative person has the tendency to kind of do a fuzzy walk through all of these fields, and very often that will lead to solutions or data points that are otherwise ignored. And right now, one of the worst problems that we face is this sort of atomization of society. We're in this really contentious, deliberately contentious environment where nobody is able to, and people are much less willing to communicate to each other in deep, meaningful, sustainable ways. That is the worst possible problem we could have at this moment. What we need is to be able to reconceptualize our problems creatively, come up with creative solutions, and to do that, we need social engagement of a depth and a kind that we've never seen before. A livable future would support human health and happiness in a really deliberate way, and that's not actually what we're doing right now. Does our economy support people unilaterally? Do we support people emotionally and physically without question? The things that we do as artists that help generate healthy connections between people and question culture and social norms in useful ways, those are the things that we can do as artists that are, I think, a lot more important than you might realize. Whatever strengths you're gifted with, you're obligated to share. It doesn't matter what they are. We don't get the resources that we have so that we can have them just for us. It's not only pointless, it's mentally unhealthy. We don't do well like that. So my hope for the future is, yeah, I'm very hopeful for the future, but this is the kind of fight where I don't care if I'm gonna lose, like, it doesn't matter. It's the kind of fight where you don't get the option to not participate just because you think you're gonna lose. So where does that leave us as a society? We don't want to lapse into violence or social disorganization and hatred and, you know, finger pointing and name calling. We need solutions, and everyone's got to be at the table. Everyone's got to be heard, and that's how we get ourselves out of this mess.
Learn more about Rusty at hazardfactory.org. Artist has a story to tell, and our musical guest this week has a particularly compelling one that includes, at the age of 14, performances on America's Got Talent that took him to the finals, all the way from Maple Valley, the phenomenal Benicio Bryant. Hello, man.
Hi.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm so glad we got you because you're a very busy person right now. You got a lot going on. So now you performed 2 original songs on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
But for your debut performance, you performed The Joke, Brandi Carlile's 2017 hit.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that song?
So originally I had performed with Brandi Carlile at my high school, and she was so amazing. And I was like, I love that song. It's such a great song. I'd like to audition with it. And it has a really good message. And I wanted to, you know, go out on stage like that.
You feeling nervous, aren't you, boy? The quiet voice and impeccable style.
Already got chills.
Now, so Brandi obviously has played a significant role, right, in your career.
Of course.
So The Joke, you performed that with her also on Seth Meyers?
On Seth Meyers, yeah. She called our house and she was like, would you like to, you know, sorry for calling, actually. She's
sorry to bother you.
Sorry to bother you, yeah. I was like, what? Bother me all the time. But, you know, it was funny because she was like, yeah, would you like to go on Seth Meyers with me? And I was like, of course. Like, I was so, you know, blown away that she would even do that. She's been really a mentor and helped her, you know, through my career.
And that's where America's Got Talent, I know, kind of first saw you there.
I kind of near that time. And she's
stars
been
aligned.
supportive through the whole thing.
How did
everything.
she become aware of you from the get-go, though? When did she first become aware of you?
Yeah, it was really funny. So she was doing a performance at my high school, and one of my teachers was like, "Yeah, you know, you should go perform with her." And I was like, "Oh, wow, I'd love to do that." And so I went down there and I rehearsed with her, and I totally blew it. I mean, like blew it.
What do you mean? You just
Yeah, I could not. During rehearsal,
Uh-huh.
and I just messed up the whole song, and I just was so embarrassed because I was like, like, how did this even happen? And so, you know, it was just one of those weird moments where I got on stage.
The actual performance.
The actual performance itself, and it's like the music just took over.
I've been to the movies, I see how it ends. The jokes are there.
All my nerves went. I was having so much fun, and just I could tell she was having fun. That our energy was really good together, and it was such a weird, like, really raw moment of just awesome.
You know, watching you on America's Got Talent, I'm very struck by your presence, your sense of your confidence. So, do you remember what you felt like singing on that stage?
Yeah, I remember walking out, and I remember seeing specifically Simon's face the first. I looked at his face first, and I just was like,
My name's Benicio Bryant.
What'd you think?
I was like, are you kidding me? This is actually happening.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's do it.
I did the joke, and I performed that. They all said yes.
You got 4 yeses.
I was just blown away. I went backstage, and it was like a blur. Everything, I only remember walking on stage and walking off. I don't remember what happened. It was just because it was such an awesome moment, but I just, I totally forgot it all.
Yeah. Well, so on the show, you get immediate feedback.
I would have stripped the song down. The backing track overwhelmed it. The lights were ridiculous.
Whether it was stripped out or not, I didn't respond to that song. I don't know that this choice was the right choice.
So how does it feel to kind of be told, nah, I'm not sure about that, right after you finished the final note of a song?
Yeah, you know what? People are excited to hear a cover of somebody, you know, of their own idea of a song.
Right.
And then when I go out there and do a song, nobody's heard that before, so they don't know if they like it or not. So then it was kind of like, oh, okay, it was really risky.
Yeah.
And so I did it. I was like, well, yeah, this is who I am. And I actually had a song called Who I Am that I did. So it's just kind of, you know, like, all right, well, this is me, so.
And you delivered the goods. So Simon, you mentioned him, Simon Cowell, one of the judges on the show. He's kind of known as a tough nut. Did he scare you at all at first, or intimidate you at all?
Yeah, I walked on and I was like, oh my gosh, he's so responsible of many, you know, people's careers.
Yes.
I was like, this guy knows what he's doing. So I went out there, and one of the rounds, it was one of the in the middle. I got on stage and he went like this. So I was like,
oh wow!
I was like, oh my gosh. So I just
double thumbs up.
Double thumbs up.
Oh
and
my gosh!
I was so blown away. I was like, wow, thank you.
That would have been such a huge boost.
Yeah.
Now people make a huge deal out of how young you are. You recently turned 15 a couple months ago.
Yeah.
But the fact is that you've been making music since you were very young. I mean, pretty much the vast majority of your life, right? So how did you get into it? Did you take voice lessons? I mean, how did you get where you are?
It's so funny, you know, I really don't know. I've always just been singing ever since I was 2.
Yeah.
And I actually have a lot of influence from Selena Quintanilla. She is a Spanish artist, and she sings like all the time in Spanish, and my grandma's Mexican, so she would play me all these songs. So when I was, you know, little, I would sing in Spanish, not knowing what I was saying. This is probably before I was really even speaking English really well. Like, I just would sing all these songs, and I would dance and just do all these, you know, I really got my start in music really early.
So obviously singing for most of your life, but also you play a lot of instruments as well. You started really young with that. Like,
I picked up piano, and then I played guitar, and then drums too. I physically cannot stop making beats, and if I'm, you know, working on homework, I'll have a pencil and I'm drumming, and I cannot stop.
Yeah. You're an artist.
Thank you,
Is your family musical at all, or? Did you get that from
my
your family?
immediate family? No, nobody.
Not
no offense to you know, my family, but
Dad.
Yeah, no offense, Dad.
But you're super supportive, obviously.
Oh,
your
always.
family is
I mean,
super
it's
in there.
everyone, not just my immediate family. Literally everybody, and it's so good to know that, because you know, sometimes in the show it would just be like stressful. I just would be just like, oh, you know, filming and all this stuff. But you know, they're just always there, and I can't get rid of them even if I tried. So
you gotta have your people around.
Of course.
You gotta have your crew around.
Of course.
Now you were supposed to start your freshman year of high school this fall.
This year, yeah.
But something big happened that kind of threw that plan off a little bit. What happened? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, well, I'm signed by Simon Cowell's label Psycho and Sony. So,
which means?
Which means that there should be some music coming out really soon. And
wow.
I don't have a specific date right now, but I'm just so excited, and it's working. So yeah.
That's great. And when you're at home in Maple Valley, do you get recognized? Do you get asked for your autograph? Is that going on?
It's so funny because I'll be walking in the store or something. I'll just walk in and somebody will just freak out and go, oh my gosh, you're Benicio. And I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, can we have a picture? I'm like, of course.
Sure.
And then I'm like, yeah. And it's funny because people get really nervous sometimes. I'm like, well, I'm just a normal guy. Like, I'm not gonna bite. Like, and people are like, is it okay if we take a picture? I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't mind. And my dad, too, he got recognized for being the guy who cried on TV all the time.
Watching you perform?
Watching me perform.
Oh,
they were like, oh my gosh,
so
you're the dad.
You're the dad that cries.
You're the dad who cries. Right? I know. I was just like, and my dad, you know, he was like, yeah, I'm famous now. Look at me.
Your dad's such a good guy.
He's great.
I like your fashion sense. We've all been noticing it. And in particular, you got a thing for shoes. Yes?
Yeah,
What are you wearing today? Hold them
are,
up. Can we get a good, nice shot of these, you guys?
Everybody see these?
Yeah. What are these? What are those?
These are Yeezys, Kanye West and Adidas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I know my parents are like really not digging my fashion sense. They're kind of like, really? Like,
because of the look or because of the money?
Both, I think. Kind of both. Like, and I have these pants that they always make fun of me for.
Yeah.
They call them my grandma pants, but I'm like, no, these are like, these
but
are cool
you're
pants.
creating your whole sense of presentation and style and how you feel good.
Yeah, and
That's
you know,
important.
they're my family, so they have to rank on me. Like,
Sure.
they have to do that.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm just used to it now.
And you just go, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
All right.
And you kind of dance around in groovy shoes.
Yep.
All right, it's January 2020. What would you like to see happen with your career?
Yeah.
If you could?
I mean, oh gosh. Well, it's the new decade, which is crazy. I mean, that's insane. I think 2020 is gonna be a crazy year. I think, you know, crazy good, like a good crazy. I think it'll be kind of extreme, and I hope that a lot of cool stuff is gonna happen, and I'm always gonna be making music wherever I am. No matter what, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
All right, I know you're gonna play us a few original songs.
Yeah.
These might be on the new album. Who knows, maybe.
Yeah.
What's gonna be first? What would you like to play first?
Yeah, so this song is called Who I Am.
Who I Am.
Who I Am, and it's funny. This song is really, it's personal, but it's also for other people too, because it's kind of about not forgetting who you are as a person, no matter what happens in your life.
Amen all to that. All right, Who I Am. Okay, everybody, we're about to hear woohoo! Benicio Bryant.
I know things are different. I hope you can understand. Making my decisions, I'm doing the best I can. Oh, people all around me, they get in my head. I'm trying to ground me so I don't forget. I need you to help me with something. So promise me that you will be honest. So call me out if I lose inside of what it's all about. I need you to tell me if I'm lost, losing touch, if it all becomes too much when I need hand. So don't let me forget who I am, who I am, who I am, who I am. So don't let me forget who I am, who I am, who I am, who I am. So don't let me forget who I am. Oh, coping with the distance. Never thought it'd be so hard. No. All the things I'm missing, I wanna be where you are. when I need it. So don't let me forget who I am.
Keep up with Benny's many creative adventures and live local events on social media.
Hi, I'm Susan Lieu, and I'm thrilled to be curating this Art Zone calendar of events. If you love literature, then you'll want to know about Isabel Allende's upcoming event featuring her latest novel, A Long Petal of the Sea. Born in Peru and raised in Chile, Allende is the author of best-selling and critically acclaimed books that have been translated into more than 42 languages and have sold more than 74 million copies worldwide. Tickets to hear this literary legend read from her new novel include a copy of A Long Petal of the Sea in English or Largo Pétalo de Mar, the original Spanish edition. It all takes place January 30th at ELLIOTT Bay Book Company. Next, STG presents The Actors Gang, the new Colossus. 12 actors tell their ancestors' stories in 12 different languages and 12 different eras, all woven into a single narrative about escaping an impressive homeland, drawn to the beacon above Ellis Island. Written by the ensemble and Tim Robbins, and directed by Tim Robbins, you can see the new Colossus February 20th through 22nd at the Moore Theater. Let's head over to the Wing Luke Museum for their newest exhibit, Where Beauty Lies. This show aims to challenge and expand our ideas of what beauty truly means. Through personal stories, art, and artifacts representing experiences from the Asian Pacific American perspective, it's a deep dive into the complicated culture, psychology, and industry of beauty. Catch the show now through September 2021. And that's a great segue into my own one-woman show, Over 140 Pounds. This story follows my journey to discover my mother. When I was 11 years old, my mother died from plastic surgery malpractice. The surgeon was charged with medical negligence, and my family fell apart. No one talked about what happened. 19 years later on my wedding day, I realized I needed to know the whole story. Sifting through thousands of deposition pages, reaching out to the killer's family, and becoming pregnant, I uncovered the truth about my mother, myself, and the impossible ideal of Vietnamese feminine beauty. You can see my show February 6th through 16th at ACT Theater.
Thanks, Susan. And I'm going to add one more event to your excellent list. The Westerlies, a terrific brass quartet, originally from Seattle and now based in Brooklyn, are coming to town with the second annual Westerlies Fest, a multi-day music event created by the quartet to, in their words, give back to the community that raised us. Featured in this year's festival is internationally renowned pianist, composer, singer-songwriter Robin Holcomb, singer-songwriter Celise, spoken word artists Sarah Kay and Phil Kay, and poet Troy Osaki. In addition, there will be workshops for students and musicians at all levels, guided listening sessions, open rehearsals, and a closing concert of original compositions by the Westerlies themselves. Westerlies Fest 2020 runs February 6 through 9 at various venues around town, and more information, including how to get tickets, is on their website. And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon.
Please, I'm just really trying to make it easy. Meet me in the middle and leave the rest up to me. And if you stay, I won't leave. But if you go, just take a piece, so my heart can rest at ease. Only 6 strings, promise you I won't play them wrong. There's only 26 letters to make you sing along. I've heard about love in all these heartbreaking songs. Well, if it's gonna bruise, oh, if I'm gonna
Thank you.
Art Zone is filmed on location at Georgetown Stables, the coolest event space in Seattle. More information is at georgetownstables.com.